Hi folks, and welcome to Tree Stand Buddies Game On. I'm your host, Nate Cline. This week, Jason Q's going bow hunting in Ohio, then Robby, Gilbert, and I are going to try to take a double down in West Virginia on some turkeys. Get ready, because Tree Stand Buddies Game On starts right now.
Tree Stand Buddies Game On is brought to you by the Tree Stand Buddy, the tree stand hanging system that's coming to a tree near you. Wild Dale's Booner Builder, build your invisible food plot today. Extreme Sighting Solutions, let Extreme Sights be the solution to your sighting problems. High Country Archery, celebrating 30 years of archery excellence. Invite Team Extreme Food Plots, make them thrive 365. Bush in a Bag, your personal ground concealment system. True Fire Releases and Broadheads. Products more archers trust. Kicks Industries, Get on Target. And Walnut Grove, makers of the Booger. Products have been provided by these fine sponsors.
Let's get this show started with Jason Q, who's got a little something going on that's going to shorten his deer season this year.
I got a kid on the way, and he's due any day, so I'm not really sure how much time I'm going to have to hunt, throughout the course of the year. So I have it set in my mind. The first respectable buck that we get good footage of, and I'm in front of the camera, I'm going to take.
Well, we've been here about an hour. We've seen 0 deer so far. It's only about 5:15. So that ain't worth it. There's white oaks dropping consistently right here in front of me. It's warmed up about 20 degrees today from yesterday. But last night it rained real hard when we was in the stand. We had a low pressure system, so that caused the deer not to move. Well, tonight's it changed the mood. Plus we got a high pressure system in now, so it should cause the deer to get up and feed. So I'm hoping we should see some deer here in the next hour or so.
It's October 7th. I head to a high by myself. Just picked this farm up last year and had a lot of good encounters on it. Tweaked some stands a little bit, and as everybody could probably remember, clear across the country last year, there was oaks galore. And I think it shut a lot of the deer hunting down because there was so much mass crop out there, but that's hunting. So we zeroed in on the white oaks, close to a bedding area. And that's exactly what this stand right here was.
Got a perfect wind too, it's coming around the bedding area, blowing right back across this wide open field back towards the truck. So everything's looking pretty promising. Got the old high country locked and loaded, but we get to stick one with it tonight. It's been shooting amazing since I got it, so I can't wait to shoot one with it.
About an hour before dark, I noticed the deer feeding down in the oaks directly below the stand. And I get on him with the camera, zoom in, and at first I can't tell what he is because the foliage in early season is so thick. He's 70 yards, but I can't tell what he is. So after watching him for a few minutes, I realized he's a pretty decent buck. He's no giant by any means, but he's a good, respectable buck.
The Q-Dog's got a nice buck moseying his way through the oaks, but he's trying to film this hunt himself. We've also got some great turkey action and Wild Dale's Power Play Moment of the Week coming up. Extreme Sighting Solutions is new this season with the Terminator. We use the strongest CNC machine aircraft-grade aluminum available. We're bow hunters, and we know exactly what your equipment goes through each season. Our sights are durable, lightweight, and bright. Our pins are looking at 24 inches of some of the brightest fiber optic material on the market today, giving you the visibility you need to make those tough shots count, even in low light conditions. The new Terminator by Extreme Sighting Solutions just put one more advantage in your favor. Let Extreme Sights be the solution to all your sighting problems.
This is the last day of a 4-day hunt. We saw a giant here last night.
blade popped off the dang O-ring again. Just blew it.
Make the switch to a mechanical broadhead you can count on. The TrueFire Switchblade. Blades are easily reset. No O-rings. Guaranteed not to pre-open in flight.
Man, I'm making the switch.
The TrueFire Switchblade.
Hunters, are you sick of dropping your gear from your tree stand, then having to climb back down to get it? Walnut Grove has solved an old problem with a new idea, the booger. You may be fooled by its looks, but you'll be amazed by its abilities. If you drop it, this little booger will get it. The Booger by Walnut Grove Hunting Products. Proudly made in the USA.
This is the Tree Stand Buddy, the easiest, safest way ever to hang your stand. With the receiver on the tree and the bracket on the stand, simply slide your stand into place. Attach the tree stand strap. You never carry your stand up the tree. Tree Stand Buddy works on virtually any hang-on stand. I put a receiver in every tree I hunt and take my stand with me.
It's that easy.
Learn more at treestandbuddy.com.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wild Dale's Booner Builder, the invisible food plot.
Jason Q has a good buck headed his way in Ohio. Let's get back in the tree.
So after watching him for a few minutes, I realized he's a pretty decent buck. You know, I mean, he's no giant by any means, but he's a good, respectable buck. And with my son getting ready to be born any day, I knew this was a deer I was going to take after I got to looking at him for a little bit. I only seen one deer all night, but that's the only deer I needed to see.
He's standing right over there. That deer caught me off guard. I looked down here and I seen a body, but I couldn't tell what it was. When I got to looking, I saw it was a pretty decent 8-point. I wasn't sure if I was going to shoot him or not. But then he started feeding his way, and I can tell he's not a huge deer, but he's a really nice deer. Probably one of my best deer with a bow in a while. He fed right into 25 yards and I smoked him. He ran over on a bank about 70 yards and stopped. I can't see him because it's so thick. I'm filming myself tonight, and I tell you what, I'm jacked. Old high country. Right there, baby. Let her eat.
Before we go see Jason's buck, let's see what Richie and Jesse have for us in this week's In the Scope.
Folks, welcome to this week's In the Scope. I'm Rich, this is Jesse. We're going to talk to you about a couple products this week. Jess, what do you got there wrapped around your neck?
The bush in a bag.
The bush in a bag.
Personal ground concealment system. Very easy to put on, easy to use.
Lightweight.
It's got grommets in it, so you can put it around your tree stand. You can use it on the ground. Very versatile.
Goes right in. Here. That's it right there.
It's got sleeves in it, so it makes it comfortable when you're not lugging the whole thing.
And you use the bag as a head net once you're completely set up, and it completely conceals you. You know, you're obviously going to want to put some gloves on if you're turkey hunting, but there you have it. Well, you look better like that. Whew. And then, you know, obviously when you get set up like that and you're in the spring, what's next attached to the end of your gun? The Goblin Thunder from Kicks Industry. This is a diagonally ported choke tube. Unbelievable downrange patterns. You just can't beat it. I literally decapitated a turkey at 20 yards this past spring.
And even getting out there, we've shot them at 40, 50, even close to 60 yards.
Yeah,
and still have
absolutely.
a pattern.
I pattern my gun at 45 yards. I'm putting 47 BBs in the head with this choke tube. There's just absolutely no way I would hunt with any other choke tube on the market.
Not only turkey guns, they got them for anything.
Absolutely.
They got them for duck hunting.
If you're a duck hunter, they got the high flyers. So check them out, Kicks Industries, and that's it for this week's In the Scope, guys. We'll see you next week.
You can find Bush in a Bag at bushnabag.com and Kicks at kicks-ind.com. Now, let's go see Jason's buck.
I put a really good shot on him, and as he runs off and I'm watching him, it's, you know, like I said, it's early season, it's hard to see because of the foliage. I thought I seen the deer go down, but I wasn't sure, and where he had ran to. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get him out by myself, so I had to make a phone call and get some buddies in there to help me.
Well, here he is. Shot wasn't exactly what I thought it was. I went back and reviewed the footage. I seen that he had his shoulder to me back, but I still caught the lungs. It's just, back of the lungs. So he only went about 120, 140 yards. He didn't get very far. Good blood trail. The Speed Pro did exactly what he was supposed to do. 25-yard shot, hunting in the white oaks. That's where it's at in early season. Sitting there all evening and just white oak after white oak. But, I can't thank High Country enough for giving us these bows to shoot this year. They're unbelievable. It's a great shooting, flat shooting bow, and I highly recommend it to anybody. I got a kid due any day, so I ain't got many days I can hunt for the next few weeks. So I took advantage of it. I knew these acorns were dropping hard, so I come in here and it's the only deer I've seen tonight, but it's the only one that matters. It's a good looking 8-point. Probably one of the best deer I've taken with the bow in the last couple of years.
That was a great buck, and Jason's son Austin was born just 6 days after he killed that deer. We're not done yet. We've got an awesome turkey hunt, and we're going to find Wild Dale after the break.
Take year-round management to the next level with Invite Extreme Wildlife Systems.
Invite Extreme Wildlife Systems has everything you need to attract more wildlife and grow bigger bucks.
Quality seed blends, liquid fertilizers, herbicide, highly nutritious minerals.
When you put your deer on the Invite system, you'll see the results.
It allows your property to hold more deer and better deer, as well as more wildlife in general. Use Invite's complete line and you won't regret it.
Make them thrive 365. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Tree Stand Buddy.
Coming to a tree near you. Find us on treestandbuddy.com and Facebook.
Well, it was the first Saturday of West Virginia spring gobbler season. Once again, Nate, Cline, and I were out chasing those dirty birds of West Virginia.
Me and Nate have been all over this ridge, and turkeys just gobbling sporadically. So we've been moving on them a little bit, just trying to locate. We've actually got a pair of gobblers that have probably come a couple hundred yards. And instead of committing to them, we're going to stay up here for a while. I'm going to call to them every once in a while. I'm using the Green Thunder. That way I can get some higher pitches and some longer range out of it. And just keep locating them. Just checking where they're moving at before we actually commit to them. Because I think that's one of the #1 mistakes with turkey hunting, is everybody's so quick to commit. Don't get in such a hurry. Just kind of hang back and see what the turkey's going to do, and then make them come in on your terms. But we're going to call to them here and see if we can get anything. They're gobbling, they're moving. Just hurry up and wait. Here they go.
It was an awesome morning. We were on birds from daylight until about 9:30, and then it just kind of went dead. We had located, we were hitting a lot of places locating, and there was a place that, as fate would have it, we actually did an instructional DVD earlier in the spring from that same location. And when we did the instructional DVD, I even said, if I was to ever get a turkey to gobble here, this is how I would set up on it.
Now, this was one of our spring turkey hunts, and that's really not that far away from most of us. The first thing we're going to do is find a good spot like we're on right now, where we've got a couple ridges, and locate a bird, or try to locate a bird. Show us what we're going to use.
Well, obviously this is not a roost hunt,
no.
So we've probably boogered our roost hunt up. So we're out, we're prospecting, we're looking for a bird.
Well, we get up there and we hadn't called yet, and of course, you know, Nate and I, the jokesters, we look at each other and go, "How funny is it going to be if we get a turkey to gobble from right here?" So we actually set up on this turkey in the same exact tree, everything. It was picture perfect.
It's time for this week's Power Play Moment, brought to you by Booner Builder. Folks, welcome to this week's Wild Dale's Booner Builder Power Play Moment of the Week. This week, Dale's working his way to us here on a browse route that he's sprayed with Booner Builder. As you can see, it doesn't take much to make the Booner Builder work for you. Take a look at what he's doing here. All he's doing is just getting the plants wet that he wants his deer, his wildlife, to route right down this path. Dale, you said this is a path that you created for these deer. This wasn't here, and you made this. Tell me how that works.
Well, actually, you just walk down through there and spray a wider area, build that corridor of browse, making those plants better. The deer will actually come in and start feeding them down. You're going to get that higher quality of regrowth. Before, you never used to be able to see that creek because the brush was so thick and the briars and the multiflora rose.
Yeah.
The deer's actually browsed it all down to where they can come in and out of that creek a lot easier. You're recognizing the food sources, improving the food sources, and making it easier for the animal to incorporate it into its daily routes.
No, you keep hearing us talk about routes, browse routes, mosey browse routes. What we're talking about is a path for a deer to come toward your tree stand, and that's basically the nuts and bolts of it. A deer is going to follow a route. And tell me how you have perfected the science of moving a deer where you want him to go. Tell me about this effect that you've had on them.
Well, it's a lot just the Booner Builder getting in and improving that plant, okay? And you're actually just building better plants for the deer to operate easier. Their senses recognize it, and it naturally draws the deer. Just like if the deer naturally smells you, it doesn't have to see you, it's automatically repelled.
Right.
It's going to turn and move the opposite direction. That's the way its senses are geared.
So we haven't even got into the invisible food plot part of this. If you've got all this native browse like Dale's got on this property, you can create an invisible food plot just by improving the plants where you want the deer to feed. And this is working really good for people on public ground where you can't go in and plant a food plot. And when you've got private property like we've got here, it's a perfect way. It's improving food plots already, because I know you've taken food plots and sprayed the edges of them to improve all the brush around there and to improve the direction of which you want them to enter that food plot.
Correct, and then you can build that staging area anywhere from 30 to 120 yards away from that food plot, where you actually want to make your stand placements and connect all your browse routes, so that as that deer wants to readjust on browse to plants or to grasses, you know, to keep its stomach right, it's going to loop back in on you. It's going to readjust its chew and go back out, get some more, come back in, readjust with what it needs.
One of the biggest problems a hunter has is getting a buck in daylight hours under his stand. When you are getting in the deer's staging area with something he wants to eat and a place he wants to be, that's where you're going to really see your results in hunting season, when you give the deer a place to come and a place to eat all in one area with cover. That's it for this week's Booner Builder Moment of the Week. But don't forget, you can go onto Facebook and chat with Dale. He can give you some pointers, send him an email, and he's going to answer all your Booner Builder questions to keep you updated. We'll see you next week.
A guy just shot out the ridge, and he got fired up. So I started calling to him. They're actually moving, so we'll see if I can get him to gobble again. We got set up, and I started doing a little soft calling and started to get a little more aggressive. And I've got turkeys all around me, and they're all converging to this point. So we've got our decoy out, and it's basically just a matter of time of which turkey's going to show up first.
Robby's doing what Robby does best. He's pulling longbeards into his gun barrel. But things are about to get interesting. We'll explain after this.
This is the Tree Stand Buddy, the easiest, safest way ever to hang your stand. With the receiver on the tree and the bracket on the stand, simply slide your stand into place. Attach the tree stand strap. You never carry your stand up the tree. Tree Stand Buddy works on virtually any hang-on stand. I put a receiver in every tree I hunt and take my stand with me.
It's that easy.
Learn more at treestandbuddy.com.
Wild Dale's Booner Builder is a new one-of-a-kind product that will help you keep and route deer where you want them. With as little as 2 applications, you can turn native wood browse into a more healthy and nutritious food source that deer crave. Not a sweet treat, mineral, fertilizer, or attractant, Booner Builder works within the plant itself to increase sugar production and total health of the plant, thus making it more desirable to wildlife. Now, for the first time, you can create browsing routes that lead directly to your stand without anyone else knowing about the honey hole you've secretly created. Bring that nocturnal buck you've been after right to your stand during daylight hours with Wild Dale's Booner Builder.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Gibbs Archery. Visit them at GibbsArcheryGear.com.
These birds, they finally come in. They were coming through the woods, and Nate actually seen them before I did. And instead of them coming straight to us, they kind of came up above. But as far as the footage goes, it's awesome because we get them coming right down this little gully, right through into the saddle of this field.
That's right. I'm rolling some awesome footage with nothing between me and this turkey, except Robby's big head.
There was 2 sticks, and he was actually sitting beside me at one time, but he was so worried about getting that perfect shot that he backed up and told me, if they're by this grass, you're okay to shoot.
I did tell him he could shoot these birds when they got to that stick in the field, but I didn't anticipate his melon getting in the way.
Turkeys are putting on a wonderful show. So in the back of my mind, I know my friend told me just to shoot when they got to this grass. I didn't have nothing to worry about. So I'm into my gun. Turkeys get down there about the decoys, 20 yards. One's full strut, the other one's just kind of hanging out. Well, the one that was just hanging out caught somebody moved, and I don't want to point any fingers because that's really not my way, but it was Nate. He was there trying to get the shot because he was trying to get over my shoulder. I look back at Nate, and he gives me the thumbs down sign. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He goes, I didn't have it.
Huh? You didn't have them? I thought you said I'm on them again. How could you not have him?
The other one, the only one, it was covered up by your
tree right there.
He was covered up by your head.
We got all that turkey footage of him coming in, and he was so worried about getting that over-the-shoulder shot. Well, that's what he got, the back of my head and my shoulder. You kind of see the other turkey fly away a little bit. So we're disgusted, and we're like, well, you know, it was still an awesome hunt anyways. So we start walking up to get my bird. We're talking about it and everything. Well, I'm walking back to the decoys, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give a call just to see if any of them other turkeys were still there. I call, this bird cuts me off. I look at Nate, I hand him my gun, and it's basically showtime. When that second group of turkeys started to come in, they actually did exactly what we wanted the first ones to do. They came right down through the woods. They hesitated, they took their time. Now this time I was able to see them before Nate. They came off this hill, and when they hit that opening where those decoys were at, they just did not want to commit to coming in there. The strutter turkey in that situation would not come into that field. He strutted, stayed at the edge of the woods. He was actually working his way into the decoys, but he was coming from in below. The subordinate turkey skirted the edge of the field, and I just knew that Nate wasn't going to be able to take it very long, this turkey standing out there. We're talking probably a 45-yard shot. I heard the hammer drop. There was no turkey on the ground.
Well, Rob, we found a way to screw that thing up twice. Listen, we've been running around in West Virginia here calling birds all morning, and finally we get them fired up. And it took a while to get those birds fired up.
We worked these birds 45 minutes at least, and then they finally decided to come. We switched some calls on them, and here they come.
Boy, when they popped out up there in the field, I had them coming all the way down. There was one tree, the one you were leaning against, I knew I was going to have to switch on. Got switched with the camera, and then it was your hat. I thought they were going to pop out from your hat, and they might have seen me move. I got greedy and wanted to shoot down your gun barrel, which would have been perfect if you'd have waited 2 more seconds, but that's turkey hunting.
If we'd have waited 2 more seconds, we might not be sitting here telling this story. So
it was a lot of fun, though. we've got a couple of events that we want you to attend. We'll be at the Deer Asik Classic in Cambridge, Ohio on August 5th and 6th. If you've never been to the Deer Asik, it's an amazing outdoor event with vendors, live music, and much more. We've also got our second annual Pennsylvania Bow Bash coming up on August 6th at Rogersville Park in Rogersville, Pennsylvania. We'll have the 3D archery course, the gun bash, raffles, food, the all-new archery tag, and who could forget the Iron Buck. Get your tickets in advance. Go to OutdoorInsightsTV.com to find out more. That's going to do it for this week's show. We'll see you right back here next week on Tree Stand Buddies Game On.
Tree Stand Buddies Game On has been brought to you by Tree Stand Buddy at TreeStandBuddy.com. Wild Dale's Booner Builder at BoonerBuilder.com. Extreme Sighting Solutions at ExtremeSights.com. High Country Archery at HighCountryArchery.com. Invite Team Extreme Food Plots at InviteFPF.com. Bush in a Bag at BushNABag.com. TrueFire Releases and Broadheads at TrueFire.com. Kicks Industries at Kicks-IND.com. Game On Game Calls at OutdoorInsightsTV.com. And Walnut Grove at WalnutGroveHunting.com. Products have been provided by these fine sponsors. Tree Stand Buddies Game On has been an Outdoor Insights television production. Find us online at OutdoorInsightsTV.com or on Facebook and Twitter.
And I was fortunate enough to take a turkey.
This portion of the show is brought to you by TrueFire.
What the heck am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm stealing your lines.
A little bit different angle on you.
That was rolling now. You said it was flowing.
All right, look at me.
Flowing. Look at you or look at the lens.